All right, welcome back, everybody. This is Kat. This is Vibrational You, where we examine certain spiritual concepts and practices on a vibrational level so that you can check and see whether or not they pass your vibe check. And I'm super excited today and really happy to welcome a special collaborator who has graciously agreed to chat with us, spiritually based hypnotherapist and co-founder of Mind Healing Guide, Joanna. Hi, welcome,
Hello.
Joanna.
Oh, nice to see you. Thank you for having me here today.
Oh, and thanks so much for coming. I love talking about stuff like this, and hypnotherapy is such an interesting topic. Do you want to start just by telling us a little bit about what you do and what your practice is specifically for your hypnotherapy?
Sure. My name is Joanna, and I'm the co-founder of Mind Healing Guide. I am a certified hypnotherapist. We are spiritually based, meaning that we cover more of the spiritual side of the hypnotherapy. We have started our practice in 2020, and we're very excited to be helping people healing on from behavioral issues to even going into past life questions. I mean, the spectrum is so broad in what you can do with hypnotherapy and diving into the subconscious and healing all aspects of the mind, really.
So, can you tell me what you mean a little bit about by spiritually based? Like, if I were to go to a regular therapist, some of the stuff that I talk about might sound a little bit weird to them. If I'm telling, I might be a little bit hesitant to tell them about the voices in my head if they weren't prepared to believe those voices were angels and guides. You know what I mean? Can you tell me a little bit about like spiritually based therapy practices?
Being a spiritually based hypnotherapist, we dive deep into the rooted beliefs for somebody. So we go into the consciousness, the higher mind, where we also discuss subjects that people who are interested in spirituality, like let's hear, referring to angels and guides and spirit and energy. So we make sure that we respect the person's beliefs and we guide them through their spiritual path. And somebody who is a non-spiritual based therapist, they cover things like, phobias and changing habits and beliefs, which we do as well. But being spiritually based, we help the client guide them on their spiritual path of higher consciousness because we are energy beings. So we want to help allow that person to be guided on their own in their own spiritual evolution. And this is the difference compared to just a quote unquote regular standard hypnotherapist and spiritually based hypnotherapists like we are.
So it's a safe place for me to talk about my beliefs without getting prescribed some sort of antipsychotic.
Exactly. We understand. So if you talk about
Awesome.
angels and guides and other energies that are, roaming around, because I'm very intuitive as well, so I do see that. That's another thing. Somebody tells me that they see spirits. I will say, okay, sure, let's talk about it. But we'll do it in a way where it's not a talk therapy. It's more of a dialogue within your own self, and I just guide the individual to answer their own questions. This is very important because it's not me telling you what to do, what to say. I just ask the questions for you to tell yourself what you need, how to go about it, and what you're comfortable with.
I love that it's a safe place for spiritually minded people to go to therapy and be honest. Maybe we should talk a little bit about just hypnotherapy in general, because I know when I told my husband about everything that I was doing and talking with you, he just joked with me and was like, "Don't come back like the Winter Soldier." I think there's a I think there's like some misconceptions or like what misconceptions about hypnotherapy and what its uses, what it's really for, and I guess what it's really capable of. I'm not going to come back like the Manchurian candidate, right?
No, no, but that's a great question. So yes, some of the misconceptions that I even came across when I started hypnotherapy, just as a candidate many years ago, is one is it mind control? Is somebody going to take over my mind and be click like a chicken or do something ridiculous? And what I've realized pretty quickly into my exploration of it is that the individual decides whether they want to accept the suggestion or not. It is very important to understand that it is not my control. It is always up to the person what they accept or don't accept, even in their changes. If they want to change something and they're open to it and they want to, they will. But if they don't, there's something blocking them inside and they might not even admit it, it will block their healing, their evolution, their growth. Another one is will I divulge private information that I don't want to say? And you will not, or the person will not say any information they do not want to say. There's many times that I had clients who maybe were not even ready to understand maybe a past event, or were not ready to maybe actually cross that the path to their next step of their evolution because they haven't healed the other parts. So their soul would say, "Sorry, but you just can't know at this time." And can you think of any more misconceptions, Kat, that I can answer for you?
Well, I know I have some questions about like what some of the uses are. Like, what do people come to you for? I know that the other kind of like preconceived idea that I have about hypnotherapy is that this is mostly for people who want to stop smoking or want, potato chips that taste like birthday cake, stuff like that, to trick the mind into thinking something different than what it already thinks. But I mean, what are some of the typical things that you use the practice for?
Honestly, the spectrum is so broad, and I'll explain in just a minute. So, our hypnotherapy, we dive mostly into inner child healing. The reason why we do inner child healing as one of the first and foremost, really, is because many times, if not most of the time, the client goes back to a past experience that is either in the child experience or the adolescence. That's where the root cause occurred. So first we heal the inner child or some kind of past event that usually dealt with that. We also do life purpose and any questions they may have about career. What should I be doing in my life? Is this my right path? Is this my right relationship? Is this serving me? And then you can go into the other realm of past lives, which I really enjoy doing that because my belief that we live many lives and each individual is unique, having their own needs. When I said the spectrum, I meant the spectrum is not just limited to those few elements. It's also from anything you can think of. If you do want to quit smoking, sure. If you want to lose weight, sure. But all of those things, those behaviors, and all those beliefs, they all stem back to some event, something in the person's life that had a trigger, that had an impact. I don't really like to say trauma because once you go into that impactful moment or moments and you change the belief, it's just changing our perspective of it because we had a perspective that we didn't like it. Something was off, and maybe actually was off. Maybe it was painful, maybe it was hurtful. But once you see the other perspective from all the other angles, then you get to see, oh wow, okay, it was bad, but now I see maybe why I had to learn that, the purpose for it, what can I do with it? So really the spectrum of what we can do is so broad, almost unlimited to what we could help heal, alter the mindset of somebody from abundance, success to, like you said, losing weight or, potato chip thing. We could do that, but that's just surface stuff. We like to get into the core of the healing. And then we do suggestions, affirmations, positive mindset reprogramming. That's the second layer of it.
I love that because it's like being able to clear blockages for people that might be holding them back just in life in general. I'm curious, what sorts of like layers of the consciousness are you getting into? Like, what layers are you working in? A lot of people throw around words there's like theta states and alpha states and all of that. What sort of like layers of self are you working with when you do this?
I love that question. It's probably one of my favorites because I love talking about that. So there's five major brainwave levels, if you want to call it. One of the first one is called the gamma brainwave level, which is basically fight or flight. That is where you have the fear-based actions, reactions. That is the gamma. Okay, that is it's about 40 hertz and above. Okay, then the one below that is the beta, and the beta is just me and you, just conscious reality, us talking, daily things that we do in our lives, just conscious day to day thing. That is the beta state. Okay. Then you go into the alpha, and the alpha is the problem solving. So you get a little creative, kind of go into a little space of going just a little deeper. And as you go, the hertz go lower. So that's creativity, problem solving. Even it could be the beginning stages of meditation. But the lower frequency is meditation. That's where it starts. Also in hypnosis, it could be the lowest states before you start to being in that beginning stage of a different consciousness. Then after that, we have the theta state. That's like the middle ground. Theta state is the first stage of sleep. when you're just in that state of falling asleep between the awake and the sleep state, basically. So you're still kind of like on the surface, sort of, in the consciousness mind. And then after the theta state, that you have the deepest state, which is called the delta. Now, the delta in hertz is 0 to 4 hertz. The lowest, very slow brainwave activity. And in that state, that is where you go into your subconscious mind at the deepest level, and I like to say the deepest healing core. Now, in hypnosis, the levels that you primarily are in is the lower alpha, it's like the meditative state, all the way into the delta. And the difference with, like to say, meditation and hypnotherapy is meditation, you can go to the delta just as well, but it might take you weeks, months, years to even get to such a deep state. And in hypnotherapy, it's almost instantaneous. You will get to the core. The healing that you'll do depends on the soul and how deep do you want to get. This is the difference. And also in the delta state, I just want to mention the delta state, that is where you are connected to your mind the most, in the states of where your body could have the ability to heal. You're just conscious awareness, talking to your body. So if you have any ailments, any emotions that go into the body, because that's usually how it goes, you can constantly heal yourself in that state because you can talk to your body fluidly, you know? And that's really where the deepest healing is: mind, body, and soul.
Feel like, yeah, physically focused humans definitely prefer to have some level of buy-in, right? Like they want to understand how stuff works. It's if you can at least wrap your head around it a little bit more and understand it, I feel like that really helps people.
Yeah, yeah. And like when you talk about the mind is more, in a sense, abstract, right? Like, okay, the physical body, your organs, you see it. There's a picture of a heart, there's a picture of a liver, but the brain, there's a picture of a brain. Let's see all the neurons and all the things that are going on. Even to this day, they cannot fully explain the mind. The mind is almost like a question mark, really, right? But when now we're really developing and what's really going on, when you're
Mhm.
watching TV, you almost get hypnotized by certain things, and they know it. Commercials, TVs, music, like the repetitive verses that they have, and it gets you into it. That is, in a
Mhm.
sense, hypnotic state. So it's super interesting.
It's interesting, like delving into inner self is for as technologically advanced as we've become, it's like the oldest question of humanity, and it's still like the final frontier, which is so cool. It's the thing we've been interested in the longest and are still like discovering and developing all the time. Are you able to, in those states, build new belief systems? I'm kind of curious about like how hypnotherapy might be used for manifestation practices. Like if I have a block to like success or wealth, and I don't even know what it is. Would it be possible to build new beliefs, more positive beliefs that help you allow those types of things to come into your life through this process?
Very good question. So for every session that we do, we always get to the goals of the individual. So let's say your goal is about the abundance, right? So that abundance mindset, if you feel you have blockages, it is rooted somewhere, some negative aspect in your life that is from the past is surrounding this. So the first thing we do is we get to the event, the past. Once we get to the event, we unravel it, get an understanding of where it's coming from. It could be from family, it could be from a situation, it could be from your own perspective. It actually doesn't mean that something happened. Maybe you created it too. So then we unravel it, get an understanding, and we go into perspective of everybody around you too. You get to see if the person wants to go down that route, you get to see the perspective of other people. So you understand where they were coming from. Let's say it was a family issue, and family maybe was tight with money, or maybe they that's where the lack mentality started from. You get to actually understand the mindset of your, let's say your parents or whoever it is, of where they started. So once you understand, you get the lessons, and now your perspective has shifted. You go, okay, I see that it wasn't me. It was from whoever else that placed that on me. I didn't believe that, but they placed it on me. So now I'm changing my mind because I understand it's my choice in the end to believe it or not believe. And I see that this is not serving me. So once we do that, then the next step is recognizing that, and that's where the healing starts. And then telling yourself, what do you want to feel? How do you want to feel? What would you like your thoughts to be? I let the individual kind of tell themselves, because I've noticed that other hypnotherapists maybe don't go down that route. I noticed that is the deepest healing you can get. It's not on the surface where I'm just gonna like throw affirmations at you. I go to the core healing. Then we place the thoughts and we convert the thoughts. And also after the session, I have a recorded session for the clients so they can listen to it. They get to listen to it on their own time and to kind of like almost in a sense brainwash themselves back again to the state of neutrality, going, I am infinite. I am capable of everything. Nobody's going to tell me what I can and cannot believe. I'm going to create my reality.
So, can you tell me a little bit about what your process is for bringing in clients? How do you assess and bring people into the practice?
When a client comes to me and is wanting some kind of change, some kind of assistance, some kind of clarity, so first and foremost, we go over their goals. Now, what is their goal? What are they there for? And it could be just infinite possibilities. So I suggest to the client that we focus on three. Doesn't mean that we can get to three, but focus on three subjects that they want to cover. They want healing, they want clarity, they want some kind of change in their life. So after we assess those three, I give them suggestions on maybe how to approach them, just a broad general, because their soul is going to guide me during the session. Then I explain to the clients the process. It's about 2 hour session, between 1 hour and 2 hours, because I do them online through the web. We have a Zoom chat that we do the sessions for, and I found it very effective. So you don't have to be in person to have it to work. One of the concerns the client may have is, what if we have a dropped call? If there's a dropped call, you will wake up from hypnosis as if you were just in a sleep. That's one. Second one is something that I had asked is, you can use the toilets, the restrooms during the session. I would get the client out of the hypnosis. They would just go to the restroom and come back, and they would be even in deeper state of hypnosis. How that works, I'm not exactly sure, but they go deeper into the state of hypnosis.
Probably the
Um,
relief from having the empty bladder is a little more relaxing. Like I would imagine
and
it's hard to like
yeah,
relax and leave the physical behind when your bladder is full.
yeah. So if they'll say, "Oh, what do you see?" I see the toilets. I'm like, again? You've seen the toilets again? Okay, I think it's time to use the restroom. So during the session, your soul will guide me to what is appropriate. Because the thing is, I make sure with the person two very important things about their beliefs, because it's very important that I respect the individual's beliefs, because there's a language in the beliefs. The language is meaning, do you use God? Do you say source? Do you even believe in that? I could just say universe. I just say energy. So that's very important to speak the client's language, for comfort, for safety, for everything. Also, the imagery we use, because if I say, hey, I like to use the angels in assistance, do you believe in that? Would you like that as well? And they might say no, they might say yes. So that's very important to respect the individual's beliefs and or the religion. Once the session is over, it might take you time to process all the information, because it might be a lot, depending on what the soul let you know at that time. So I give the individual the recording, usually within same day, within a few days, and I let them just process it and follow up for about a week and seeing how they're feeling, how they're doing. Sometimes out of the session, somebody could be very emotional and they still need to release and cry it out. And some other people, it depends. You could feel all sorts of things, but this is the healing journey, right? I will really want to make sure for the individual that they're two of my major important things for us, my healing guidance, safety for the individual and privacy. That no information is going to be disclosed. It's not going to be posted. It's not going to be talked about. Whatever's between me and that individual stays there. How they want to share their recording is up to them, but they cannot upload it without permission between me and the individual. Or they could share it with family, friends. So that's very important. And the safety is meaning they're in safe hands, because we have their best interest at heart. I will never put them in a situation where they'll feel so uncomfortable. Sometimes you have to process the emotions. If it gets too much, which is pretty quickly, I will release and detach them from those emotions, because it's not necessary. It's just about the lessons, right? And the releasing of those lessons. And I would never put them in harm's way in the session, because I know there's times maybe there's other energies or attachments that are there. I always make sure and ask them, do they feel comfortable in going there, And if they say no, then we're not even going to go there. But I also give them the protection of, like, if they believe in guides and angels, I like surround them with this protection, like this orb around them, like letting them know they're there, you're protected, you're in this bubble, you're in this light, because I would never put them in an uncomfortable situation.
So they're not spiritually compromised at all during this session. That's protected. Only helpful guides that are here for our highest and greatest good.
Yes, yes, yes. And if there is, let's say, an attachment or something, which happens plenty of times, ask the individual if they want me to even go there, to release it, to understand why it's even there. Because sometimes these attachments it could be negative spirits, heavy spirits. It could be even relatives actually who passed away and they're just kind of lingering. And sometimes they're lingering actually not for negative reasons. They're actually there to be like, hey, I want to help you out. Like, I'm not here to make trouble. So it's like, even though they have attachments, if you want to understand why they're there, there's a purpose. I promise you, there's a purpose and a reason they're there. It could be just sucking the energy out of that person. They actually maybe knew them in a karmic life or something.
I think it's useful for people to know that it might be a good way of having somebody else to help assess the situation with an outside perspective. Because I know there's a lot of videos on YouTube that are like guided meditations, but they're recorded like self journey experiences and things of that nature, like sleep affirmations and things like that. And it might be helpful to have like someone actually guiding and controlling the little bit the situation outside of yourself. You know what I mean?
So when you mentioned that, Kathy, the affirmations are fantastic. In contrast to the pre-recordings, right? So when you're in a session, number one, it's customized for the individual because every individual is unique and has their own lessons, has their own challenges, and that's one that you can customize your session. The other thing is too is you can adjust as you go, meaning there's things that are going to come up. All these emotions are coming up and they're not comfortable. You don't know what to do with it, even though the recording says, okay, release, they feel better. But in real time, it's different. You have somebody guiding you to make sure you are safe, that you are not in any situation you don't want to be. Also, the engagement in it and the response, meaning, when you talk to somebody one on one, and they could assess your situation and help you and guide you. So the range of techniques that can be used for each scenario, it's customized.
For some serious things you wouldn't do for yourself, right? Like you might be able to put a band-aid on yourself or like, clean a wound, disinfect, but you're not going to perform your own surgery. Like you're going to go to a professional to do that, right? Probably for some things it's just better to have a professional to work with you on it as opposed to trying to do it yourself. And I imagine
Yeah,
some
that's
of
a
these things can be like a surgery, right? You have to go in deep for something that's causing a problem and figure out what it is and fix it. So it's not necessarily surface level stuff.
yes, it's exactly that's such a great analogy. I was going to say it's like spiritual surgery
Yeah.
because it's the energetic surgery actually. So you're taking the energy. Everything is energy, right? And it's just converting the energy because energy cannot die. It just gets transmuted into something else. So let's say there's a bad energy, right? How do you want to transmute that into something better? And that's kind of the point of it. Convert all these energies you have on you and just kind of release it and become what you want. I want to mention that about manifestation. Now, manifestation is very real. Of course, you want to create the life of abundance of everything you ever dreamed of. Why take any baggage along with you to the beautiful life that you want to manifest? Healing is so important, and healing could be a lifetime journey, right? Work out your issues as you go along and let it go, like during the process of manifestation. By the time you actually get to your end point, you don't have this other stuff to deal with.
Most of what people want to manifest really falls into a couple of categories. People want wealth or abundance, they want success or fame, they want to feel accomplished and they want to feel supported, they want love. It's interesting to me that a lot of the painful stuff in life or the things that might be needing healing through this practice are things that would block those. There's almost always some unworthiness connection to those categories. So it's like a lot of the things that are the most traumatizing to us are the things that block this kinds of stuff we want the most. Does that make sense?
Exactly. That's a beautiful addition to it. Exactly. If you don't heal that, then you block the abundance. Life is a river, and it should be flowing freely, smoothly, without any blockages. Clear the path, right? And heal, right? Then you have a smooth flowing river, and you're flowing with that abundance, you're flowing with life, and it'll
Mhm.
come to you so fast. So even the funny thing is like with hypnotherapists, so I'm talking from a point of I've been there, I understand. I've been many times in hypnotherapy. So I'm like living proof of like I'm doing my own healing as I heal and as I assist people healing their own journeys. So I'm on the same kind of path. There's this quote that I love, and I think I wrote it in one of my books, which is hope in 2024 hopes to be published. But one of the quotes that I like is, "We are all students and teachers, and nobody's better or worse than anybody, because at one point you are the student, at one point you are the teacher, and you kind of like seesaw back and forth. So we're just on our own evolutionary path." I think that's kind of the point of life to me, this unity we have. with each other, like collaboration, right? Helping
Yeah,
each other out.
the law of attraction brings together cooperative components, and all people have pieces of other people's puzzles. You circle around and the people that have the piece of puzzle that you're looking for and work out together get brought together.
Oh, I love that. That is beautiful.
It's not me, that's Abraham Hicks.
But still, hearing that is really nice. Yeah, and that's like you're saying, pieces to the puzzle, because everything is vibrating, right? So everything that you're creating in your mind, you're actually creating. It's going into the quote unquote like a vortex of creation. And how does that come out? Is because where your attention goes, energy flows, right? The more you focus on that, the more it's going to expand. That energy is going to surround you, and you're like a magnet. We're like magnets to whatever.
Yeah.
We're magnets to bad. We're magnets to good.
Hmm.
So if you focus on bad, you will get bad. If you think
Yes,
something's going
ma'am,
to
you
happen,
will.
most likely, I'd say, So when you kind of follow the I don't want to say follow, but when you understand the laws and you kind of go with the flow of the laws, then things come to you quicker. Okay, so the website that we have is mindhealingguide.com. And we are spiritually based hypnotherapists. And for the month of January, we're going to have a discount, 30% off for our session. And it is just for the month of January.
Awesome. I will link that in the description for people who want to check it out and look to that. And I am excited. I am going to give it a try and then check back with you. We'll do a follow-up interview to talk about the experience and everything. And we will post that over on your channel, which is also called Mind Healing Guide, correct?
Yes, correct.
Awesome. And I'll link that video also in the description for people who want to check out and follow up with what my experience was like giving it a try. It's super exciting to do it. I'm really interested to see what happens. I kind of can't wait.
Yeah, I'm so excited for you. Also, on our social media, you could find like on YouTube affirmations. I'm gonna post more hypnotic sessions that for stress and anxiety, especially during the holiday season that's gonna be coming up this week. Stress and anxiety, as well as just inner child healing, and so much more is coming. If they just want to listen to that, just kind of ease their mind.
That's awesome. Well, I will put the link in for your channel in the description. You guys check out Joanna over on Mind Healing Guide and check out her website if you're interested in doing a session. And I will see you over on her channel with a follow-up to my session. Sound good?
Wonderful. Sounds great. Thank you so much.